Turkana County covers an area of 68,680 square kilometers. It is hot, with unreliable rainfall pattern ranging between 300 and 400 millimeters per year. Turkana is classified under the arid and semi-arid lands of Kenya. For a long time, majority of the residents of Turkana County have depended on nomadic pastoralism and fishing as a major source of their livelihoods. Fishing is practiced in the waters of Lake Turkana. Goats, camels, donkeys, and zebu cattle are the most common livestock kept by the communities in the region. Kerio and Turkwell rivers supply the region with water for cultivation and for livestock. The Turkana people have been dependent on relief food for the last 5 decades. The situation even seems to be worsening every year as the drought cycles become more recurrent and severe owing to climate change. Irrigation has been seen as one of the long-term solutions to perennial food shortages occasioned by erratic rainfall. Irrigation in Turkana dates back to the colonial era.
So ilikuwa ni kitambo sana, hii mambo ya ukulima huku kwetu ilikuwa ni kama tu mambo ambaye haijulikana sana. Tulikuwa wafugaji, lakini mdhamini mmoja akafika, mzungu mmoja anaitwa Hobster Ben. Ilikuwa ni kitambo kama 1978 hivi. Ilikuja kufika mahali fulani 73 83 akaanza hii mambo ya ukulima hapa kwa irrigation ya Lokui, Lokubai na Murlem. Na wakati alianza ukulima na beshen ambaye kila mkulima alikuwa anachukua beshen kama 6.
This scheme was started about let's say about 8 years ago by World Vision International. They came on board, they opened the whole area. In fact, they were using human labor to open up, and their timeline was only 5 years. They were able to do this scheme within 5 years, and they handed over the community.
Through irrigation, it is possible for the people of Turkana to be self-reliant by producing their own food, and by the National Irrigation Board coming in, this has been proven.
Before we came on board, the entire Turkana County was affected by drought and starvation. Hunger was actually on the high rise. And every year, this place, around Lokubai and Lelea, these areas, they used to receive relief food from the government. But since we came on board, relief supplies have not been forthcoming, simply because the farmers have got enough to feed on.
On my right is phase 1 of Katiru irrigation scheme with 1,100 acres that was opened in early 70s by FAO. And on my left is what NIB has done, expansion of the Katiru irrigation scheme with 1,400 acres.
The youth have been engaged in meaningful agricultural projects to feed their communities as well as the country.
File NIB file alikuja na hiyo ni hii irrigation, hii mambo irrigation yao estani yao. Sisi tukapata sasa mashamba yetu wa vijana. Lakini file tulipata mashamba tukaanza kuoa. Kwa sababu tumeyapata tayari direction ya maisha yetu. Kwa sababu mbeleni maisha yetu ilikuwa tu inakaa tulikuwa tunakaa kwa makifofu. Lakini file tumeyafuata mashamba tumeyafuata macho tayari.
Through irrigation, Turkana can be food sufficient and feed the world.
On production part, we started assisting the farmers on production support in land preparation, provision of the inputs, and also assisting them in capacity building.
Wakulima sisi tukiungana pamoja na tufuate maagizo yale NIB ama serikali inasema tufuate, hakika tunaweza pata chakula mingi na tunaweza lisha Turkana nzima ama Kenya nzima.
In the year 2011, National Irrigation Board started rehabilitation of the scheme with a view of reinstating the furrow irrigation system.
The canal system was 100% silted. But when we came in, we were able to open up the canal system, we were able to repair the farm structures, and at the same time gave farmers inputs.
Most of the irrigation infrastructure was dilapidated, with most fields and roads covered with huge trees and prosopis.
Hapa ilikuwa na miti ile inaitwa madhenge. Ilikuwa imetulemea na ilikuwa imetushinda. Kukata na mikono, paka ikatushinda, paka hata njaa ikashinda zizi.
Lakini wakati wa watu wale wa NIB walikuja, wakaturudishia ile mashamba kwa kufagia, hata huko kwa intake vile mlikuwa mmetembea, akaweka dike na hiyo ikatusaidia.
The acreage of the scheme, the total acreage of the scheme is 1,260 acres. And by the time we came in, only 300 acres was under crop. So with NIB's initiative and support from the government, we managed to crop the entire scheme by supporting the farmers. Actually, we brought in inputs and even farm tractors to open up to do land preparation, and the farmers were able to engage in agricultural activities.
National Irrigation Board has improved the schemes by refabricating new irrigation water control gates, desilting of canals and drains to their design capacity, as well as raising the walls of the main canal at intake site by lining. All these interventions have enabled the irrigation water to be supplied at the required quantity and also to flow to all the blocks as expected. Sensitization of farmers on crop husbandry practices has high impact on increase of crop yields due to timely irrigation with required quantity, use of fertilizer and control of weeds by use of herbicides.
We are also assisting them with production support, whereby we are plowing, we are harrowing and ridging for them, and also we provide the inputs, DAP, fertilizers and the seeds.
Tumepata chakula kingi, sio kama ile mamiaka zimepita. Ile mamiaka hakika tulikuwa tunapata chakula duni sana, lakini saa hii ile chakula tumepata ni mingi sana. That is kuanzia gunia 12 hadi 18 average, ile kubwa sio ile ndogo.
We have come with the technologies here in a shamba so-called on-farm. The on-farm is where that knowledge is transferred to the farmer's level to do it at a larger scale. With maize, we have ridge shoulder, and we have one plant at 1 foot with 75 centimeters in between rows. And with green grams, we have 4 centimeters, 4 seeds in between the plants. Reason being, when you plant green grams and you leave very many, it will be too vegetative, and the plants will be crowded.
Hapa Ikatule irrigation scheme ilianzishwa na PAO, na wakati ilianzishwa na mama wa 70s. Alikuwa atujafunza jinsi sahi hii model farm iko on farm au kuweko. Sasa tulikuwa watu tu tunapelekwa hivyo tu bila kuonyeshwa njia. Sasa tumeonyeshwa njia na NIB na tunashukuru serikali.
The opening of the scheme has attracted most of the local people to the activities in the scheme, thus reducing idleness and drunkenness.
Before we started the scheme, most of the youth were just roaming about in the villages. Today, as you can see, even in front of us, we have some cashews, some people who are working in the field. So there is no idleness as it used to be there before.
Pia atusumbi wazazi, hata wezi sikia saizi. Kitu yenye ilikuwa natufunza sisi upande uwizi ni ukosefu wa mashamba, ukosefu wa maisha yetu, na sasa tumepata sasa maisha yetu.
Through the initiative of National Irrigation Board, a Water Users Association was formed and all the members trained on their roles and responsibilities.
For the moment, we have to be on the ground, at least to start to make sure that the schemes are properly maintained as we build their capacity, whereby now they'll be having some kind of recovery in form of operation and maintenance fees, so that now they can take up the maintenance of the infrastructure on their own.
NIB ilianzisha mambo ya recovery na revolving, kwa sababu wakati NIB atatoka ametuonyesha jinsi sisi wenyewe tutabaki sisi wenyewe kuendelesha skimu yetu. Hapa awali hakuweko. Unajua, kwanza walianza kung'ang'ana mambo ya kung'oa msitu. Sasa saa hii ni mambo ya kutengeneza feeder canals. Unajua kuna main feeder, kuna sub feeder. Sasa bado wanaendelesha hiyo. Hawajaanza kuingia ile ndani. Ile feeder canals ya ndani ya kunyunyizia kila block. Kwa hivyo kazi bado mingi.
Due to lack of organized institutions to assist the farmers in marketing and other on-farm activities, the National Irrigation Board assisted the farmers in formation of block-based groups. The groups were registered with social services and have been encouraged to form a revolving fund.
Last season, farmers brought in some maize, which they have sold, and we are opening an account so that we have a revolving scheme or a revolving fund for sustainability of the scheme. We have also undertaken training of farmers. Last year we trained 500 farmers, and this year we're also training another 500 farmers on proper crop husbandry, methods of coming up with a revolving fund. That's by forming groups to come up with a sustainability system of running the scheme.
Revolving fund imetufunza mambo mingi. Inatekeleza karibu mambo matatu hivi. Inatekeleza mambo kama ya kuweka pesa kwa mfuko, wao uonekane ni mzito. Alafu ya pili, inaweka chakula nyumbani. Ya tatu, inarudisha pesa zingine kwa shamba kufanya ile kazi. Na hata watoto nalipiwa shule. Mtu akigonjeka anapelekwa hospitali kwa urahisi.
As observed early this year, about 80 farmers opened accounts with Equity Bank, as well as upcoming of newly constructed residential houses.
We have already introduced them to Equity Bank, whereby now the farmers, through their revolving fund committees, through their groups, they can secure loans to continue with the activities in the field.
Hata ukiona mimi chairman nafasi haicha timu nzuri, lakini wakati huo chairman huwezi kuona nafama ni hii taya. Sasa tunashukuru serikali. Watoto yetu tumesomeshwa. Manyumbani mimi nilikuwa nikiwa chairman, nilikuwa naishi nyumba ya nyazi. Sasa hii hata tukienda sasa hii nimejenga nyumba ya mabati.
So one, we have been able to address the issue of hunger or food security, and secondly, we have been able to empower farmers to realize some income. With the maize, they are now able to sell and even support their children in school. Also, the issue of diseases. You know, when people are satisfied, the issue of disease also comes down. And on the lighter note, also the rate of weddings. People have been able to marry, and used not to be there. But now there are so many people, so many ladies giving birth, and so many arusis going on in the area.
AIC.
Watch more agricultural documentaries at www.youtube.com/AIRC video unit. Find us on www.nib.or.ke, on Twitter or Facebook.